Hey guys, so that was definitely a strange night last night, but today I'm gonna take a look at the 2020 electoral map and explain why Joe Biden, despite, it not looking too good for him just a couple hours ago, why the electoral map is looking very, very favorable right now for a Biden victory, although it's not the landslide victory that a lot of us were expecting or hoping for. Definitely, he still has a very, very strong pathway to victory, and still, whether he can win by a large margin or a small margin really will just depend on certain states. So taking a look at the Biden states, I'm going to fill in all of these states based on their new margins. Basically, the West Coast is all solid, like I had said. Oregon became a solid state in this election from a likely state in 2016. The state of Hawaii also is still solid. Colorado and New Mexico, 10% states for Joe Biden, they increased by quite a bit compared to 2016. Colorado, I believe, was stronger for Biden than New Mexico, which is pretty surprising. Illinois remained a solid state, and then almost all of the solid states that I'd been using this entire election cycle were solid. Keep in mind, around half of these were not solid for Hillary Clinton in 2016. The first district of Maine was also solid, while the at-large vote was likely, and these results are not expected to change. All the states I'm calling right now, they're expected to go to the candidate that I'm giving it to. So the state of Minnesota, that was a likely state for Joe Biden. He was able to break through that 7% barrier. In 2016, Clinton only won this state by 1.5%, so that's quite an increase, and that was a sign that there was going to be an increase for Biden votes here in the blue wall. The state of Virginia, also a likely state for the former vice president. Now, for President Trump, he has quite a few states as well. So I forgot two states. That was New Hampshire as well as the second district of Nebraska. These were both likely. In this second district, I'll explain to you guys just in a moment why this is such an important call and why Biden being able to flip the state is really a big deal. So for Donald Trump, most of his solid states were solid. Now, I did predict some states to be likely that ended up not being likely. The vote in Nebraska, this was all solid, I believe. Missouri was not likely. It was very, very barely a solid state, but we still have more votes to count, so we'll see. But right now, it's solid. It's just over 15%. I thought it would be just under that, but we'll see. Kansas was a likely state, like I had said. All the South, like I said, was going to be solid for Donald Trump. They did come out for him. The state of Indiana, I thought was going to be likely, but really it was not. It was a solid state in the end. This state was polling in single digits for Donald Trump, so the voters in Indiana really did come out for him. South Carolina ended up being likely, like I had said, but I did make some mistakes in some of my calls in the three states that went to Donald Trump so far. Ohio and Iowa, these states were likely. I thought these states would be so much closer. I mean, Biden was leading in these states coming into the election, so that's why I put them in the Biden column, or in the Trump column as a tilt state, but they ended up being likely. Iowa, a much smaller margin than 2016. Ohio, basically the same. But the state of Texas, it did decrease by around 2%. Still an improvement. That is going to be a lean state right now for Donald Trump, so not the tilt margin that I was expecting, but I did give all of these states to Donald Trump. I also did give Trump the state of Georgia, which right now I'm having second thoughts on, but we'll take a look at the results in Georgia in just a moment here. And then these are basically the states that are yet to be called. Alaska, it's going to go to Trump, but we don't have a call there. Trump leads by around 30 points there with, a very small amount of the results in. And Alaska, even being so far away, it's going to take a while. Nevada and Arizona right now, Biden leads in both of them. Biden has already been called to win the state of Arizona, according to many news forecasts, with a lean margin. I expect that to actually drop to a tilt margin in the coming hours, but we'll see. The state of Nevada is very, very close right now, but I think that Biden will be able to pull off a victory there with only mail-in votes left. So the second district, why is the second district such a big deal? Right now, Biden is expected to win Nevada and Arizona, so let's give these two states for him. So with the second district, Joe Biden no longer needs the state of Pennsylvania. Right now, he leads in Wisconsin and Michigan, so all the states that are blue on this map, Joe Biden leads in right now. And all of these lighter blue states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, and Arizona, Biden leads in, but has not been called for him yet. These four states, as long as Joe Biden wins these four, he's at 270, and he's leading in all of them, and his leads are not expected to decrease or disappear, because really all the votes that are left are the mail-in ballots in Wisconsin and Michigan, and Biden was down by over 10% in Michigan for hours last night. That was the red mirage I was talking about. People were, they were unhappy with me because of how Biden was doing, but really I said to wait, and after waiting, we can see that Joe Biden's numbers were definitely much better than expected in Michigan. The state of Wisconsin, 10 electoral votes. Joe Biden also took the lead here earlier this morning at around 5 a.m. Eastern time, I'm pretty sure. So It took a while, but these two states are now in the Biden column according to the results that we have so far. Pennsylvania is still in the Trump column, but we expect results to come in on Friday. It's going to take a while. I mean, Pennsylvania, they're counting votes much slower than they thought. I believe they're counting votes at 10,000 votes an hour. They thought it would be 32,000. So we might not even get results there by Friday, but if Joe Biden wins these two states, he is on the pathway to victory. Now, the states that I did get incorrect so far, I'll make a much more updated map when we get all the results in. But the state of Florida, 27% of the mail-in ballots still have not been called. This is due to Louis DeJoy, as well as Donald Trump just defunding the UPS, and that did have an effect in the state of Florida. I mean, over one fourth of the mail-in ballots, which were going to be very strong for Joe Biden, still weren't counted because they didn't get in time. So Trump may have won Florida by 3-4%, but really, I think that without those ballots, it's really not, any sort of strong victory for Donald Trump. He could have won. Biden could have flipped this state if those ballots were counted. So we'll see. I gave it to Biden as a tilt state by a very narrow margin. Trump won this state by around 30% as of right now. We'll see if those results get counted. I believe they are going to court right now in the state of Florida regarding those results. So we'll see what happens there. Do I think it can flip for Biden? Not really, but I think that Biden will definitely do much, much better here if those results were counted, and his chances of actually flipping this state, I think, are not too small if they actually count it. So the state of Florida right now, I think, is lost for Joe Biden, in my opinion. I will give it to Donald Trump. But North Carolina and Georgia. North Carolina, I said, it could go both ways, but it was very, very close. It was less than 2% for Donald Trump. It was a tilt margin. I said it would either be tilt Trump or tilt Biden, ended up being tilt Trump. We still have 5% of the vote left, so he could definitely decrease on that, and a recount could definitely occur in North Carolina. The state of Georgia, 16 electoral votes. I mean, this state right now is in favor of Donald Trump by around 2%, but there's around 8% of the vote left, and it's basically all from Atlanta, and Atlanta is going to vote very blue. The results have, Biden has been closing in throughout the night. He's going to close in even more on Trump in the state of Georgia as we get more mail-in ballots or absent ballots to be counted. I mean, in the state of Georgia, I believe in Atlanta, they had a water pipe burst, so where they were counting the ballots, so that's why they halted counting in the state of Georgia. But Joe Biden, the New York Times, currently gives him a higher chance of winning the state. Betting odds are still on Trump's side, but Georgia can definitely still flip. And if Biden wins Georgia, it's just done for Trump. I think that he's not going to win the election if Biden wins Georgia. So right now, I think that Biden is in a very good position. He still has the possibility of flipping Georgia. North Carolina is still not safe yet for Donald Trump. Pennsylvania can still definitely go Biden's way. We still have millions of mail-in ballots to be counted, so I mean, Michigan was down by over 10% for Joe Biden, and it came back up. Biden now leads in Michigan. Pennsylvania, we're seeing the same kind of numbers that we saw in Michigan when Trump was leading. So we'll see. Definitely still a lot of votes out. So if we take a look at the electoral map here on the New York Times, this is probably the most accurate map. So basically, they have not called Arizona yet, but it's going to go to Joe Biden. Nevada is getting pretty close, but with the mail-in votes left, I just don't see Nevada flipping. I would be pretty confident if it flipped. That would really be a surprise. But Wisconsin, 97% of the votes in. Donald Trump led for basically the entire night. But now Joe Biden's up by 0.7% in Wisconsin, the same margin Trump had over Clinton in 2016. And as more votes are coming in, we see that Green Bay is basically done. That is a more Republican area. We see that Madison is basically done in Dane County. But we see that in Milwaukee County, we still have 2% left. I think that's a change from earlier when I checked this map, but we'll see. Eau Claire, we still have 7% of the vote left, so really it's just, a very small amount of votes that are yet to be counted. Biden leads by around 20,000 votes right now. Could definitely go to a recount here, but basically all the votes are in, essentially, and these mail-in ballots that are left to be counted, they will be counted by today, and I'll update you guys all on all of that. The state of Michigan, Joe Biden has also taken the lead. He leads by 0.6% here. The good thing for Joe Biden is that he has lost Grand Rapids, probably a district, I think by a larger margin than Clinton lost it by, but we'll see in Kent County. We'll see when all those results come in, but still, they are counting the mail-in ballots, and we'll get a clear picture of who's going to win by tonight, most likely, and I'll update you guys on all of that. Genesee County, Flint has actually flipped. This was a change from just a couple minutes ago. There's so many changes happening right now, so I want to get this video out as fast as I can so it can be updated. But Flint right now has flipped for Joe Biden. That was expected to go to Joe Biden, but it was leading for Trump for basically the entire night. Up until 90% of the votes in, it was in favor of Donald Trump. But right now, Biden has flipped Flint. Detroit, we still have a quarter of the votes in Detroit. That's going to give Joe Biden an even larger lead in the state of Michigan. Now, polling was definitely off. I don't think it's going to be those 8% margin expected. According to the polls in Michigan and Wisconsin, I thought it was going to be lean. It might even be lean right now in Michigan, but we'll see. It's in Pennsylvania. So this state right now is in favor of Trump by around 8%. But really, they have to count all of the mail-in ballots first, I'm pretty sure. All of them in a certain area, and then they report all of them together. So there's still, 1/5 of the votes left out there, and they're going to be very, very strong for Joe Biden. But keep in mind, even if Donald Trump wins this state, does not mean that he's going to win the election. Joe Biden can still get to 270 electoral votes. Pittsburgh, we still have a quarter of the votes out in Pittsburgh. We still have so many mail-in ballots. Philadelphia, we still have a little less than half. Montgomery County, we still have quite a bit there. Delaware County, a quarter. So many of these Democratic counties, we still have quite a bit of the votes left. Most of these other counties, they're all done with their counts. So Georgia, a new batch of votes were reported this hour, and Trump's lead has decreased even more. So like I said, these results are constantly changing. They're going to change even more. North Carolina, Biden is down by 1.4%, hasn't changed for hours now, but we'll see if those remaining votes in Raleigh and Greensboro, Charlotte, Fayetteville can get Biden the victory. Really not too much from Raleigh, though, or Greensboro. But in the state of Georgia right now, Donald Trump leads by a margin. Let me see if I can do my math correctly here. He leads by 2.8, or he leads by 1.7%. Wow. Actually, no, not 1.7, 1.8%. I apologize for that. So right now, Georgia is going to be tilt state for Donald Trump, like I said, but it might even go to Joe Biden. We saw that the votes in Fulton County as well as DeKalb County have come in, but really, honestly, these were not the results that Biden probably wanted. Trump has an 87,000 vote lead here, so as long as it's within 1%, I believe, Joe Biden can request a recount. We still have a fifth of the votes left in Savannah. This race is going to go down to the wire. A recount may really occur here. I think that Biden's going to ask for a recount just so that, Trump gets worried. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. The court cases, I really can't predict what's going to happen. Anything can happen. But what you should keep in mind is that the court cannot give the election to Donald Trump. They cannot say that Trump is going to win the election. That just can't happen. They can halt the in-person ballot or counting of the mail-in ballots if they want. But right now, if they halted it, Joe Biden will win the election. So I don't think they're going to do that. They can say that some ballots were illegitimate, which is honestly just up to the courts at this point in time. Whatever they want to say. But, we saw Brett Kavanaugh saying last week about referring to the Bush v. Gore decision as a good decision, where they just stopped counting in Florida and they gave Bush the victory. So if they did that in other states, Biden would win the election. So I don't think that's going to happen right now. Pennsylvania is looking really, really close. Honestly, this state I can actually see going to Trump at this point. The numbers are just not increasing enough. But as we saw last night, anything can happen. There are going to be huge shifts still. Biden is down by a little bit over 400,000 votes. And with Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, as well as the mail-in ballots, which are hugely skewed in his favor, I think he can still win. Erie County, the mail-in ballots are skewed very favorably towards Joe Biden, so we still have a lot of the vote left there. This is the bellwether county in Pennsylvania, so we'll wait and see there. But right now, Joe Biden's definitely in a much better position than he was last night on the stream. It got kind of depressing last night during the stream, but like I said, Biden could still win, and right now he can still win. If we were to take a look at the betting odds for today, let me just refresh this because this is constantly changing. I know I said 85% in my announcement, but it's gone down to 80, it's gone down to 79, it's gone up to 82. It is just constantly changing in the betting odds right now. As you can see, Biden had a 61% chance going to the election. Trump had a 44% election night yesterday. Trump had a 59% chance, Biden 42. But now Biden's numbers have dropped all the way up to 80%, which is, I believe, the highest chance Joe Biden's ever had of winning the election. Let's see what 80% is. Yeah, Joe Biden has never had, not even close to 80% on the betting odds. So these numbers are very, very favorable towards the former vice president. So I think that he will probably win the election at this point in time. I'm not going to call it or anything, but he has a very good chance. The state of Nevada, 86%, Arizona, 80%. It's going to go to Biden. Wisconsin and Michigan, over 92% chances of going to the former vice president. I mean, look at these numbers. So this is all yesterday, but they haven't updated numbers for today. But yesterday, it's a huge jump for Trump in Wisconsin or in Michigan, but then now Biden's all the way up at 92, much higher than Trump's numbers. So it's probably going to stay this way. I think that this is a very reasonable electoral map. Pennsylvania is still favored to go to Joe Biden at this point in time. Trump's numbers jumped up, as we saw in basically every state. But we'll see how the numbers change here in the next couple of hours. I think we'll be able to have a pretty good idea of who's going to win in a little bit. The state of Georgia definitely in decrease for Donald Trump. Since yesterday, we saw the Trump numbers all the way up to 92. Now it's at 72. I think that definitely Biden still has a chance here, but we'll see. The counties in Atlanta, they're not showing the numbers that Biden probably would have hoped for. But honestly, all we have to do is wait. That's all we can do right now. But Biden right now is in a very good position, in my opinion, and in a much better position than the people were saying that he was in yesterday. So really right now, the electoral map is pretty solid according to the betting odds, except for Pennsylvania and Georgia, two states that at this point, Joe Biden does not need. If we want to take a look at the second district betting, Joe Biden has a 99% chance of winning that. I also do want to take a look at the state of Maine, because it's hard to find results in Maine. Statewide, it's obviously going to Biden, but right here on the district-wide level, I did make a mistake calling the state of Maine for Joe Biden, but it is probably going to go to Trump right now. But still, that's not going to give Donald Trump the election. So right now, according to the numbers that we have, Florida would be a lean, Georgia would be tilt for Trump. North Carolina would be tilt. These states, they were pretty solid lean states, so Biden has definitely made improvements. The state of Florida, let's say he just wins this state, let's be nice to him, and also give him the second district. That's still 265. If we add Alaska, that's 268. Joe Biden still wins the 2020 presidential election, but we will see. I'm not calling for Joe Biden. I just think that right now he is not in a bad position, as much as most people want to say that he is in. But, most people, as you can see, most people do believe that Joe Biden will win this election. Taking a look at North Carolina and Georgia, these states were just so close. The polls were a little bit off there, definitely, but it was really close. It was well within the margin of error. State of Florida, we saw a lot of those votes that weren't counted. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I just don't think that's fair. And honestly, in the state of Florida, we saw improvements all across the board for Joe Biden, except for Miami-Dade, a county that went to Clinton by around 66% last time, or Clinton won 66% of the votes. We saw increases in Broward and Palm Beach, but Miami-Dade, the largest one, just did not come out for Joe Biden like he would have hoped. So that would have given him the victory. Biden flipped Duval County. He flipped Pinellas County, where Tampa is. So really, Joe Biden just did not capture the Latino vote as people expected. As the numbers were saying, he really needed to do more about that. So Florida is probably not going to flip. There's really no chance at this point in time. But the New York Times gives Biden a pretty good chance at winning the state of Georgia. So right now, as you can see, the vote in Georgia is continuing to decrease. Pennsylvania also decreasing at this point in time. Wisconsin here, it's just one mail-in ballot. As long as they deliver one huge chunk of the mail-in ballots, Biden will be able to get on top. North Carolina, we saw Biden slowly decrease over the night, but we'll see what happens there. If we move back to that's the Senate elections. I'll cover the Senate elections in a couple hours. I actually do want to take a look at those. So it's pretty surprising. The Republicans did much better than expected. But right now, in the state of Georgia, they have still their whole projections thing. I'm really not sure, but Biden is still expected to win the state of Georgia according to the New York Times, although Trump is up by 8% right now. So we'll see. The results in Georgia, they are skewed towards Joe Biden right now according to the New York Times. I don't know why I can't find that whole needle thing showing their chances. I have no idea where that went. But as of just a couple minutes ago, Joe Biden had a 64% chance of winning Georgia. So everything is just, changing all the time. And, as this video results have changed so much just since we started this video. We're approaching 20 minutes. Yeah, so Biden's lead has expanded to over 30,000 votes in Michigan. Yeah, so that was an hour ago. So Biden's lead is continuing to expand in these Rust Belt states. Although not the margins we expected, we did expect these states to go to Joe Biden. Pennsylvania was, of course, going to be a little bit closer, but we'll see what the results look like. So right now, the electoral map is looking pretty favorable for Joe Biden. I called Arizona for Biden last night. It's shrinking in margin, but we'll see. But right now, this is the 2020 electoral map as it stands. 227 electoral votes for Joe Biden. And then Florida, I think, yeah, we can call Florida. So the state of Florida, that will get Donald Trump up to 217 electoral votes, and then not the second district. So 216 for Donald Trump, 227 for Joe Biden. That's the electoral map as of right now. We'll see how this all updates. I will keep you guys all updated. But right now, according to the results that we have right now, Joe Biden has enough electoral votes to win this election, putting him at exactly 270 electoral votes. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys also so much for watching this video. I know that, it was getting a little bit worrisome for Biden last night, but I think it's much better than people expected. Everybody was saying that Trump definitely won. You're just wrong. I mean, Trump definitely was looking good, but I never said he was going to win, definitely, and I never said that his chances were, great in this election. So we'll see. We just gotta wait, and I think that we'll get some pretty good results out of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Georgia by today, and I'll make sure to cover that, as well as Nevada and Arizona. Really, we're just probably gonna be waiting on Pennsylvania, and we'll see what happens to the quarter of the mail-in ballots from Florida. So thank you guys all so much for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord server if you have not, and I will see all of you guys in the next video.